getting, and communication. How you communicate is not English communication, but the transmitting to the society and making it happen. These three are important, which will make the person to be useful to the society. And of course, in the learning process in the institutions, is that the project-based learning is one aspect, how they are going to learn it. And even the experimentation laboratory courses also, they need to know why each experiment is being doing instead of just completing some experiments and going out. This is what you call project-oriented laboratory courses. That's what we like to mention. And we have the panel members have their own opinion, different aspects of it. I just, being an educationist, I just focus on education. But it is much more beyond that, the career skills that you need to go. I request RVR Krishna Chalangaru to have his.
Thank you, Professor Sai Baba Garu. First of all, I would like to thank Business World Education for organizing this event and very interesting topic of future ready skills for 21st century careers. My opinion on this topic is basically today's generation, are they really able to identify a problem, right? If they can, it's a skill actually. Identifying a problem is a skill. Making a problem statement is a skill. If people can do these two things, there are umpteen number of tools that are available which can solve the problem, right? So these two skills are very critical aspect for any students. And then how do we inculcate this kind of skills is what we are supposed to do as part of our learning journey. The third part is in terms of decision-making skills. Today, students are not able to take a decision, and they are so volatile, and then they don't stand on their decision, right? Whatever be there, instance be there, the decision-making skills are very, very critical. This is another aspect that we are supposed to understand. The next point is agility and adaptability to the changing technology domain, because today technology is moving so fast, it's upgrading so fast. Is the student ready for learning and adopting the new changes, right? Accepting and then moving on towards it. Maybe when you compare with our generation, these students are definitely tech savvy, and they try to initially experiment with the new technologies. But are they really opting the full advantage of the skills? That is one other aspect that we are supposed to understand. And then communication skills is one more important. If we are able to communicate it clearly, clear communication is very, very important. Or do they have a clarity on what they are communicating? Do they have a consciousness of what they are communicating? And the other part is their cooperation and future decision competence related aspects. So these are few areas that students really need to think. And how do we inculcate this kind of skills is one of the important responsibility what we feel as an higher education institution engager. So I believe that these are things that we need to start thinking on. So technology comes and goes, and there are a lot of changes that will be coming up. But there are certain areas where we need to seriously look upon. So this is my initial thoughts. Probably I'll leave it here, and then my colleagues would take it up further. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Karunakar Garu, Director Geetam, to continue the discussion. Have his point of opinion. Thank you.
Yeah. So, very good afternoon to each and every one of you. So, coming to this particular question of future ready skills for 21st century. I would probably begin by saying that there are 5 important components for any student who is graduating. Number one, he might be graduating as an engineer, he might be graduating as a BBA student or an MBA student, he could be a BCom, anyone. So the first thing is, the importance of mastering the mental models in that particular domain or that particular subject. The second is developing that systems thinking. I would say it's a rearticulation of what Krishna has just now mentioned. It's about problem solving skills. And there are several tools which are available. So mental models, systems thinking within a particular domain, whatever that domain could be, within engineering, you've got mechanical, civil, electronics, IT, all that. Within MBA also, we talk about specializations, right? When we come to the second year, we talk about specializations in finance, marketing, etc. So mental models, systems thinking, I'm putting it very, very broadly. But that's not enough. This is purely, I would say, more technical. What is really, really important in today's scenario, and it was so earlier, but I would say with greater emphasis, it's about interpersonal skills. Okay, so personal skills and interpersonal skills. One of the aspects which Krishna just now touched upon is about communication. And I think within that personal skills, I would like to add these subcomponents like communication, time management skills, planning skills. And so that's the third component. The fourth component is interpersonal skills. And that's extremely important. It takes time to master. It's a lifelong exercise, I would say. And this would have things like how to think win-win, how to have empathy when you're listening to another person. So these skills get built over a period of time through experience. And the last one, which is not often emphasized, is the importance of helping that student to have a personal vision for himself. See, many of us, we are really clueless. We don't know what really we want to do with life. It happens even when you have got about 10 years, 20 years. I would say even after, we are generally clueless. We really don't know. We have to figure out decision making, as is said. And that really boils down to a kind of a SWOT analysis, and where probably the teacher or the mentor can help that student to come up with a roadmap for himself. So just to wrap up what I said, primarily these are the 5 things I think. These are skills which have to be mastered: mental models, systems thinking, personal skills, interpersonal skills, and a vision for oneself. And I think that will stay you in good stead at whatever point of time you are in your career. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Dr. Lakshman Kumar Garu to focus points.
Am I audible? Good afternoon to the extreme, my colleague panelists, and also wonderful audience. I am subscribing to the views of my colleagues, but I classified them into 5 things: C, S, T, P, P. So what is this C, S, T, P, P? The first one is cognitive skills. And this is where I would like to include the models of what my colleague Karunakar sir and Venkatachalam sir said. First is cognitive skills. A student should be familiar with the critical thinking and as well as the problem solving skills. And creativity and innovation. This is the most important thing as a part of cognitive skills. Then decision making and judgmental skills. This is again another important component of this cognitive skills. Last but not the one in this is learning ability. So these are all the core component of cognitive skills. Any student who is passing out of any academic qualification, it could be it an undergraduate or a graduation or a post-graduation, a student need to have cognitive skills. The second one is S. S is social and emotional skills. This is where a student need to have excellent communication and collaborative skills. Unless otherwise he masters this communication as well as collaborative, how to collaborate with the teams, how to work closely with the in projects as a team member. This is most important. The second part in the social skills is adaptability and interpersonal skills. How quickly you are able to adapt to the adapted environment. And when I say adapted environment, you may be also working with the teams, cross-cultural teams. For that, you need to have interpersonal skills. The next important thing is leadership and initiative in S. S is, again, as I was mentioning, social and emotional skills. So this is the one most important thing one need to have. So the next one is technological skills. This is where a student need to get adopted to the adopted technologies. See, as a teacher, see, initially I was in sales and marketing. I carried the bag for about 10 years. Then I moved into teaching. I had the opportunity of working with various premier business schools in the country. But when I started teaching, we used to use the chalk piece and blackboard. But as the time is evolving, we upgraded ourselves to green glass boards, dustless chalk pieces, OHP sheets, slides, then PowerPoints, then CD drive with pen drive. Now we will not be carrying anything, everything. Now we are using cloud and we are teaching. So as the time is evolving and technology is evolving, as teachers, we have upgraded our skill sets to the changes needed society. Similarly, a student is also today, probably he may be thinking that is whatever the college level has produced, it is enough. No, it is not enough. Technologically, one need to upgrade constantly. Otherwise, he will be finding it very difficult. And this is what the definition which I always keep giving in brand management also. A brand success, a brand will be successful only if it stays substantial revenue in the case of a brand, but stays afloat in spite of market redefinitions. So whatever the area you are taking, you need to redefine yourself and adapt it to the adapted environment so that a brand will be successful. Similarly, if an individual has to be successful, he has also need to adapt to the adapted environment, be it technological or whatever it may be. So this is the one thing which I will. Last but not the least, the CSTP, which I was talking about, personal skills. See, knowing about self is most important, and self-regulation, because of lot many distractions are happening. One need to master how to regulate himself, act as a disciplined individual. And resilience, that is most important, because the kind of environment you are facing in market conditions, you need to be resilient. And integrity and ethical responsibility. These are all the things, the skill sets, which I always think a student need to have for the 21st century. And the last but not the least, the last P, which I was talking about, CSTPP. This is a prerequisite. A student needs to be educated on the following things at all levels, be it at secondary school level or higher secondary school level or at an intermediate college level, +2 level, or undergraduation level. One is each one of them need to be aware about global awareness. That is, what kind of things are happening at a global level. See, be it because they need to work with the diverse cultures, they need to get adopted to the different lifestyles, and they need to work with the mutual respect, and they should know about other nations, their cultures, and their lifestyles. Otherwise, it will be a problem. This is what I will be classifying as a global awareness as a prerequisite. The second one is financial, economic, business, and entrepreneurial skills. So these things are also very, very important. It's the prerequisite, whatever the technology skills, whatever you are talking about 21st century. But a student need to be educated very firmly in all these things. Civic literacy. This is the most important. What is his responsibility towards the social, that is society? Probably how he stays informed and how he takes the decisions. He should understand about the governments and rules, regulations, processes, and responsibilities. This is the civic literacy which one need to have in their mind. Last but not the least, health. Health is another thing. He's about his own health, his family health, what are the nutrition habits which he need to have. And all these things are all prerequisites to achieve, which I was talking about, the skill sets, CSTP. So this is my version. And now I will leave it to the panel members and also the audience for any further questions, discussions, and interactions. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, before I go to the audience, I just would like to consolidate what we had the discussions here. Our Krishna Chalam Garu has touched upon the problem statement defining basically any society problem to be defined so that you can have the solution, and tools to be used for the solving these problems. And one of the aspects is adaptability to the new environment. In fact, if you say any employability, they don't see the toppers in the class. They see who can be adopted for the changing environment. So that's what I would call the adaptability is very important than the percentage of marks that you hold your mark sheet. Then the decision making is one more important point he was mentioning on. And mental skills, how they're going to have the application of it. Then we have our Karnakar Garu has mentioned about the mental modeling within the mindset, how you are going to model your system solving, and interpersonal skills. That is one thing you have touched upon, where it is having a decision making is very important. He also talked about the SWOT analysis for any project for that matter, how a person do the SWOT analysis, then only you can have the problem solving in the proper direction. At the end of, in the last speaker, we have our Lakshman Rao Garu. He was touched upon many aspects in the systematic way drafted, which will have the critical thinking, skill development, and decision making, creative thinking, in fact, and communication. Communication always we mean not the language, it is the way how you communicate to the society your thoughts. Collaborative skills. Having individual skill set is one aspect. How you collaborate with others is very important, because working in a group so that the product will come. In fact, we do all agree that no product will come with one discipline. They have to come with a number of disciplines work together. Unless each and everybody understand what the other ideas are, it won't be coming in. For that matter, I can say in the world, no problem is defined as any discipline one. A problem exists there. How you solve, who is going to solve, how people will work together to solve is a matter of difference. So we will not have, like in a classroom, we have this is the subject of soil mechanics, this is the problem. No, it is not like that. Problem exists there. It may be solution given by electrical engineer or mechanical engineer, managerial person or economics, we don't know. So There's a group analysis is very important. How you adapt to each other and have the discussion meaningful. That's what we call the collaborative skills mentioning, and leadership skills. That is very important because somebody has to move it forward and make the group to work on. It is not like he or she is going to be leader. It is the question is somewhere to bring them together for the solution. Somebody has to take a lead. That's what we can say the leadership skills. And the technical skills, obviously for any problem solving, technical, I don't mean only engineering, it can be any otherwise as well. And we touch upon many things, global awareness, because any problem or any research that we do is for the society, either at a state level, national level, or a global level. So global awareness problem where we need is very important. And of course, civic literature he was addressing on. And finally ended up that unless you have health properly maintained yourself and the society, the problems can't be sorted out. So with this, we rather conclude if you have any other points to add, because we made it a point that we want to give time to the audience to react and have any points to raise on so that it will be more effective for the discussion. Because we do agree, it should be teaching learning process should be interactive, not the one-way traffic. So I leave it to the audience for the response. Thank you.
Check. So that was a lovely session by our speakers. Can we please give a round of applause for all the speakers in this panel? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are up for the questions. So if anyone has any question, please go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think any panel could have collected all of them together, nicely put together. But I was suddenly reminded of character in character. This also isn't working. Hello? Check 1, 2, 3. Static, this has no.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I don't want to monopolize the time. I thought just open it so that other people can start asking. I was reminded of Kanya Shulkam, where the character Girisham was looking for a young, rich, beautiful widow. Now, is it possible for a human being to have all these characteristics is one question. If it is not, because if you want to cultivate, once we define all these are needed, we have to, the onus is on us to build those competencies. If you were to pick and choose, prioritize 3, let's say, or 4, among all of them, what would they be? I'm sorry, it's an unfair thing for me to have asked, because if somebody asked me as a dean of a business school to create all these competencies, I would say, take your deanship, I'm going home. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if you were to be a little pragmatic, because time is limited, resources are limited, how do we build, if you were to choose 3, 4, 5, whatever you think, you talk to 3, just a thought.
Okay, let me respond. In the initial stages, when I pass out of a university or a college, I get into a job. I'm basically an individual contributor. So what people are looking for is primarily your technical knowledge, your critical thinking, your problem solving skills. So I think one has to keep getting mastery in one's field over the first couple of years. Then your role changes. a job is given wherein you have to handle 4-5 people. So you're no more an individual contributor. And let me tell you, I see many people struggling with the new role, taking people along, setting goals, conducting the meetings, and following up on getting things done. It's a very important skill. And I personally feel it never finishes. It goes on and on throughout your life. So that's where I think what we are talking about, the personal skills, interpersonal skills, adaptability, discipline, resilience, all these things come in. And then probably the third stage, because you asked about 3 things, and I'll restrict myself there. It then goes on to handling bigger teams. You know, I become a CEO. I may be CEO of a company where there are 1,000 people. So I think what really becomes important is the ability to think strategically, the ability to structure an organization, delegate work, ability to win the trust. So these things become very important. All along, when I've been teaching the executive education group, these are people with 5 to 15 years of experience. I always keep telling them 3-4 things you have to continuously master. One is the project management skills. You know, we have that PMBOK stuff. I think you should become extremely good in project management. Second is the facilitation skills, ability to facilitate a group and arrive at a decision. You know, that may include many things like problem solving, brainstorming, and stuff like that. So that is the second: project management, facilitation skills, and of course, communication is very, very important. Ability to understand the audience and speak in their language, I think, is very, very important. So if you do that, then you will automatically get jobs for higher leadership in bigger and bigger organization, is what I would like to say. Yeah.
With the permission of the panel members, I would like to answer the question, sir. I don't prioritize the 3 top skill sets. All the skill sets that were mentioned by my panelists are all equally important. But when a student is learning, that is when he is in the college, probably through formal education, through extracurricular activities like participating in clubs, sports, other activities can help the students to develop the skills that what we were talking about: social, emotional, and leadership skills. This will be the part and parcel of the program, actually, be it an internships or work experience or projects or live projects or research writing. All these kind of activities, when we are making the student to undergo during these undergraduation or the post-graduation programs, he will be acquiring these skills. This is what my take, rather than specifying, ordering, prioritizing, numbering them. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
please
please.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you please give a round of applause for both the speakers here? Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Any more queries are there?
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other questions to be asked, please go ahead.
There's one more question. However, as you all are aware, the challenge is how do we ensure modification in pedagogy in courses so that syllabus completion as well as development of skill can be achieved simultaneously.
Hello. I think probably I can address in another fashion. I think she is addressing for the curriculum, syllabus part and course structure. For this, it reminds me of one of my experiences when I was there to do my master's at Roorkee. International conference was going on. Our professors asked, US professor, how do you think our teaching is there compared to your teaching at US? They said they are wonderful teachers in India. They teach everything that they know, not bothering whether student is following it or not. So this is one aspect. Coming to your curriculum, probably you're addressing that. Curriculum is the one, as all audience or the panel members also feel, unless they understand what you're delivering, there is no meaning in that. Sometimes it may happen the executive syllabus we may be drafting and these subjects. By the time you are bothered about your syllabus coverage, the student may not be understanding. To my opinion, in this fashion, probably you can reduce the syllabus to the focused points so that the students can understand it. For example, if the syllabus is 70%, probably student understanding level may be 60%. If it is syllabus 100%, understanding level may go to 40%. Because you are pumping in everything, as I said, they may not be in a position to digest. You don't have time to wait whether they understand it or not because of your points. So this is a mixed one because you are only sitting in the board in writing the syllabus. You should know what is the time, how we can cover it up. So we should not use our superlative knowledge levels in drafting the syllabus. We should write the syllabus which students are supposed to know. What we know is not the criteria. My knowledge may be outdated for the students that they are studying now. So we need to, that is one more aspect of it. In fact, in the other point you are mentioning about the research, I would say the quality research is very important. If impure or incomplete PhDs is going to lead the society in a wrong direction. A wrong PhD will give a certificate for the person to guide another PhD. He or she doesn't know the value of PhD. Obviously, she going to produce much more worse PhDs in future. That's going to spoil the society. So quality research is very, very essential. And research is not independent of teaching. Good quality teaching lead to your thinking process, analyze, and make your research to come out. I hope I answered your query. Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Sure. Please go ahead.
As a faculty, we always bother about covering the syllabus. I am really surprised that why are we covering the syllabus? Actually, we are supposed to uncover, isn't it? Uncover the mistakes of the syllabus, uncover the knowledge that is lied behind in the syllabus and other things. But people always, I interact with the faculty and other things. They said that we are covering the syllabus. It's surprising, isn't it? So I think we ourselves need to introspect ourselves that the syllabus is basically a framework, isn't it? It is not about covering it or closing it. It's about how, what kind of data is converted to information and how information is converted to knowledge. And knowledge is leading to wisdom. If we are able to move towards that, thrive towards that, then probably I think we are doing justice for that. That is my opinion. I hope, yeah.
I think Karnakar garu has some points today.
Yeah, my response is today, when we take classes, primarily the students are very passive learners. Now, the question is, how do you make him into an active learner? That you can do it by using various techniques. One I would strongly advocate is the case method of teaching. You know, Harvard, for instance, uses the case method of teaching. I'm talking about the business school, where across the entire term, The student has to read cases, come prepared to the class, and discussion takes place. Someone said it's a flipboard approach. So this is one way to make him into an active learner. So case method of teaching is something which I would strongly recommend. Maybe you may not do it at, let's say, undergraduate first year and the second year, but you can probably use this in the third year. Certainly you should use this at the postgraduate level. So that's point number one. Point number two is, now the system is very simple, and even NEP is recommending you have got continuous evaluation for the internal marks, and then you've got the end term. So let's assume that the continuous evaluation of internal marks is 60 marks or 70 marks. In that continuous evaluation, you can give them projects and assignments. Give it to a group of students who are 4 or 5. Why am I saying it? That is where they will really learn how to work as a team. That's where they will learn how to identify a problem. That's where they will learn how to solve things and also come and present in front of the class. So this is the second thing I would recommend. And the third and the final thing, especially when it comes to B schools, I'm a very strong advocate of having student clubs. Student clubs is one of the best mechanisms for the students to really develop their personality and take the learning beyond the classrooms. So I think it's a kind of a de facto standard today in the best of the B schools to have a marketing club, finance club, operations club, data analytics club, etc. So these are the 3 important mechanisms I would strongly advocate to have a student who blooms in his personality, okay, and who is an active learner and becomes very confident. And it kind of touches upon what I spoke earlier, the mental models, the systems thinking, all those aspects it gets covered. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there any other query? I have this. If not, I thank all my panel members for contributing immensely for the topic and patiently answering the queries that has come up. Thank you.
Can we please give a round of applause for all the speakers?
Thank the audience and the before the organizers for inviting us to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I would request the panel members and the speakers to please stay back for a group photo. It was wonderful and dynamic listening to all of you. Thank you. Can we please give a round of applause for all the speakers, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so it's the time for the 4th panel discussion about ethical consideration in educational technology. And I invite Venkatramana Kulkarni, Director, Training and Career Guidance, Malla Reddy University, Dr. Parveen Jugge, Principal Gokaraju, Rangaraju Institute of Engineering and Technology, Dr. A. Mani, Dean, Agricultural Engineering, Acharya N.G. Ranga Reddy, Ranga Agricultural University. And to moderate this session, I would like to invite T. Vijaypal Reddy, Secretary and Correspondent, St. Peter's Engineering College. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please give a round of applause for all the speakers out there? Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vijay Paul from St. Peter's Engineering College. I'm the secretary and correspondent. I'm in the field of education since 1987, working in school and college education. And I'm happy to be a part of this panel discussion. And thanks to all the previous panel members. Wonderful topic because they are the most important thing in the modern period is skills. And what more than that we require today. And I think the last session today, I know you've been listening from morning, but you've come to one important session, one last important session for the evening session. Recently, my son, youngest son, who's now studying BTech final year, has got a good grade in his GRE, and he has also written TOEFL, and he has applied for some universities. One of the university has replied to him, "We will not be considering your TOEFL scores." He was shocked why they do not consider his TOEFL scores. He got, I think, almost very close to, as you know, more than 100 will be enough. And the reply that we got is, you have written the examination not from the center, but from your house. So that is the present situation. So on that context, we are going to talk today, not on my son's issue, but on the issues of ethical in education technology. Now I would like to request my panel members to please introduce themselves and then followed by their opening remarks on this particular topic.
Distinguished dignitaries and guests in the hall, and the panel moderator and distinguished Venkatramana Garu, Dr. Praveen Jaggi Garu, and T. Vijay Pal Reddy Garu. Good evening to all of you. I think I am alien in this group because all of you are hailing from the business school background or maybe from engineering colleges. I am from Agriculture University, which is located in Andhra Pradesh in Guntur district, in Guntur, and I am Dean of Agriculture Engineering and Technology. So that is why I'm saying I'm alien in this group. So today's topic is ethical considerations in education technology. So we all know education technology means creation and implementation of learning technologies to improve teaching. So wherein in the conventional education technology, we used to have the curricular development and then delivery methodologies and then ethical behavior of the learner we take into consideration, and then the context in which we are imparting that knowledge to the learner. And also we take the feedback, and based upon that, we develop the curriculum course content and deliver the technologies or deliver the lecture materials, and then continuing the teaching learning process. Whereas nowadays, with the advent of so many advanced technologies into the curriculum, the entire teaching learning process has been transformed. So we are having very much power with the advanced technologies. At the same time, we are having also greatest responsibilities to utilize the technologies properly, ethically, and judicially, and without any harm to the students who are using the technologies. So when we see the different ethical issues that are coming up in the teaching learning process particularly, so when we are talking about the teaching learning process, we talk about the educators, our teachers first, and then students second, and then other stakeholders also we take into consideration, the policymakers and business people also, when we are talking about this environment. So when you see this, everybody knows that data privacy is missing nowadays. It is actually a non-negotiable issue, but still it is missing. So for example, when we are developing our academic university management system in our university to make it fully automated using this advanced technologies, we share with the company the student profiles and other things, which needs to be actually completely stored properly and securely maintained with the encryption protocols. But the company to whom we have given, they have utilized that data to some other purpose, which should not be done in the actual case. So even though we need to use that advanced technologies because we have to go with the flow and that is needed in nowadays. But so data security and privacy is very much important. So we have to inform the students who are collecting the data, even to the parents, and then judiciously and transparently we have to use that. That is one of the important points. When we say the accessibility thing, in the agricultural university, we have different technologies wherein we are using precision agriculture, drones and other things to impart the knowledge to the students. But it is very difficult to provide the accessibility of these technologies to all the students, to all the people irrespective of their location or the site. And without having hands-on experience on the drones, the students are not able to understand the usage of that particular technology. So we have to think about how to create accessibility of the different technologies that are available in the present context. Like that, so many issues are there, copyright issues, and then cyberbullying and other things. Maybe my next speakers may talk about those things. Then I'll next come out onto that.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself and then give your opening remarks on this.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Myself, Dr. Praveen J, Principal, Gokraju Rangaraju Institute of Engineering and Technology. So our institution is located in Nizamabad. From here, it is about some 10 to 12 kilometers. It is established actually 25 years back. Recently, we celebrated Silver Jubilee actually, and our institution is offering engineering courses. 11 UG programs and 6 PG programs we are having, and ours is a NAC A++, and also NRF. We are ranked in 101 to 150 rank band. So today's topic is very nicely actually curated topic, that is ethical consideration in education technology. So already some of the points covered like data security, data privacy, etc. So other points I'll try to cover. So as we know that these days we have ChatGPT. So if we give any programming challenge or any project, whatever you give, so students are smart enough to use tools like ChatGPT. That is one thing. So now the teachers who are actually designing this question paper assignments should actually consider that it should not be that easy, which actually solved by ChatGPT, and students will only spend some time in social media instead of solving these assignments. Then plagiarism. So these days, even some of the tools like this ChatGPT, etc., even plagiarism also, it is very difficult to find whether it is actually written by student or it is a copied content. So we have to be very careful. Then if you see attitude, skills, knowledge, and behavior, these are all the 4 pillars in education. So in this attitude and behavior, these 2 things will come under these ethical activities actually. So right now in our institution, we have one course called Human Values and Ethics. We teach that. And also when this affective skills actually. So soft skills or affective skills. This is a very less discussed topic in education area actually. So always we focus on other skills apart from this soft skills and affective skills. For example, if you see Coursera platform, so all these reviews done by peer review actually. So there we don't have teacher, only colleague student only reviews our assignment and will give grading. So they will take average of the 3 gradings and they will try to give assessment. So that is one of the tool which we are using in ethical or educational technology. So we should have transparency in assessment. That is very important thing. And we should have rubric, predefined rubric. Let us say sometime in medical or some other institution, they say it is very tough examination. So it only depends upon this teacher's mood. So if he is having good mood, he will clear the examination. Otherwise, he has to wait for 1 more year. It should not be like that. So we should clearly define rubrics. What are the actual technologies? What are the things required for a project evaluation or for laboratory evaluation or for theory paper evaluation? If we define rubrics, then it will be very easy for students to acquire that knowledge and be successful in his career actually. Then integration. So now so many tools are coming. So we should avoid rote learning. We should avoid memory-based learning because everything is available in internet. So we should That is also one of the most important ethical things. Otherwise, what we do, we make all 60 students sit in the class and just we teach something which is already available on the internet. Actually, let us not do such things. So we should incorporate think, pair, share activities like active learning activities, peer learning activities, flipped classroom, where the complex things can be discussed in the classroom, where simple things we can give in a video lecture, etc. Or project-based learning. Earlier speakers, they talk about case-based learning, experiential learning, etc. Or problem-based learning. So we need to incorporate these things so that active learning takes place in the system actually. Then now we have so many tools like Kahoot or the Edpuzzle. So we can ask questions while there is a video is going on. We can pause video and we can ask questions so that we'll understand. Otherwise, you know what is happening. So children, they are actually listening in a video class and they are playing a game actually. PUBG game they are playing and they are actually online, they are available actually. So let us not, that is an unethical activity. So teacher should not allow such things. So every 2-3 minutes he should pause, he should conduct a test, or he should ask, he should take opinion or conduct a poll. Or what I mean to say is you engage them. So if you don't engage, that is not ethical learning actually. So incorporate all the educational tools so that ethical engagement happens. And also when there is a discussion forum and all those things, there should be curation actually. Some teaching assistant or some teacher should moderate the things. Otherwise, people will copy. They will try to give the answers in the chart actually. We should discourage such things actually. And always more than theory, we should have practice oriented. For example, Korea, etc. They have 80% hands-on, 20% only they have theory. And also another interesting thing, we should encourage slow learners. So how we should incorporate? You see, if you only concentrate on fast learners, so what happens about slow learners? So that is also one of the ethical thing. And also last one point is like parents and teachers, how we involve them actually in this activity. You are so in this ethics, already previous speakers also, they were telling about the role of teachers and parents. So we should see that we should involve them in these ethical activities. So I think these are all my points. I'll add more points after the next speaker. So thank you so much.
Pranam to all and my gurus. My name is Venkat Ramana Kuruhuri, and I worked as a Vice President HR for IT companies for 30 years. Sri J. Chaudhary Garu and Sri BVR Mohan Reddy Garu is my gurus. I'm working as a Director Training and Career Guidance in Mallareddy University since 2 years. And I interacted nearly 10 lakh people and interviewed nearly 2 lakh people and given job opportunities for 1 lakh people. So the topic when it comes to ethical considerations in educational technology, I always says that as an HR person, when we take a person into the organization, we always see his attitude. So ethics also plays a very important role because we want to see each and every individual should have ethics and moral and also the values. So that is the reason we always tell them that people should value humans as humans. So that is what actually we would like to tell. In Mallareddy University, which started in 2020 with 1,500 students, now we have nearly 16,000 students. We have started a course, a program from the first year onwards. Something like ethical behavior, which is a mandatory for all the first year students to go through that courses. We also give training program on grooming and etiquette, where we talk more about the ethics and values, because once the student go out of the campus, he is the brand ambassador of this institute. So that is what actually we train and groom in each and every individual, that he should follow ethics and values as a mandatory, being a brand ambassador of the institution. So you all are aware that ethics is nothing but a behavior of a person to see how he perform and prove with his positive attitude, mindset with an ownership. That is what actually we always see into it. And nowadays, most of the multinational companies are also looking that the student should have an ethics and values. Okay, that is what actually they are looking into it. And that has to impart into the curriculum. it is not only we see the students' ethics, also we see the faculty ethics, okay? Because he is going to be the teacher, trainer, and learner, and ultimately he's going to be the mentor for the students. So we find this lack of ethics in students, also in the faculty members, and please take it this as a positive, because I've seen a lot of the faculty members actually they get trained and they get certifications. When we ask them to get trained, the trainers, they take the advantage and they never gives the commitment to the institution, and they just leave the organization and they go and join the other organization because they have lack of ethics. So when you're going to teach ethics to the students, okay, the faculty should also have the ethics, because he is the role model and he is the mentor for the future of the students. So he need to look into those things also. So this actually I would like to share with you all, because when I worked as a vice president HR, when I go for campus drives, I've seen a lot of faculty members used to call me after the campus drive, and they ask me, do you have any opportunities for us? Okay. So we don't expect them to ask, because that is basically unethical, and we are not supposed to entertain those things. So I request all the faculty members to take the ownership, because they are the role models for the students, and they should ensure that, okay, ethics plays a very important role. In the last, before this, actually, there is a session which was about the future ready skills. Okay, we spoke about the future ready skills. That is a very interesting topic where I would like to be there. But in future ready skills, ethics plays a very important role. Okay, and that is a very, very important role. When we talk about the future ready skills, we talk about attitude, aptitude, ability, adopt, and accountability. So that is mandate for a person to prove himself as a professional. So ethics plays a very important role. It is one of the professional skills where the student has to develop. So when it comes to the organization, we talk more about integrity issues and non-disclosure issues. All this come based on the ethics. So we will be going through more about it with our speakers, and because Dr. Praveen is there, who has got 25 years of experience in academic, and Madam is there, who was into academic, and our moderator sir is also into an academic line. So they can talk more about this. And as an industry perspective person, I will definitely pitch on in. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Mani was saying that she is not from the field of engineering and related business related schools, but I think she has really started off with, nice copywriting issues, data privacy. She explained so well. And then Dr. Praveen has thrown some light on plagiarism and the tools related to that. And Dr. Venkatraman Garu has raised the issue of, teachers setting an example. When you are wanted to teach your students to have some ethics, teachers should set an example. Of course, our topic is now today on ethics in using education technology, but still, whatever is that, unless our teachers, staff have it, it will be very difficult. And I would like to request my friends to speak on what are the precautions that the young students should take while using the education technology, while whether using internet or the Wi-Fi or whatever it is. What are the general precautions that you would like to advise young students to take, each one of you?
Yeah. So it is actually a very nice question. Actually, this content was not covered in our discussion. So in our institution, we have one student club actually. It's called Digital Wellbeing Student Club actually. And we are also offering one course, 2 credit course on this thing. So here we have about 40 different items. For example, bullying is there. Then we have addiction is there, social media addiction. And there are so many, phishing is there. There are so many activities are happening online actually. So we should educate all our young students, as well as, you see, last week you might have seen in news that one IT professional actually victim of cyber this thing. So maybe a few crore rupees from his account actually. So somebody will lure with some, they will say that there is some award has come, something, some cash prize has come, and they will ask your details. So likewise, there are 40 to 50 things are there. So we are actually having a MOU with one foundation called End Now Foundation. So there are about 40 to 50 posters So what we do is we circulate these posters to our students. And for example, PIN number, we should not give PIN number. We should not download. For example, what happens generally when we sometime children at home, they'll take our phone and they'll try to download some game actually. So when they are downloading game, it will ask some other thing will also get downloaded with that thing, and we don't know. So whenever they are playing games, so whatever, because our games, our phone is linked with our account number, credit card, etc. When they are playing games, so they will buy guns, they will buy online. So everything we don't know. So suddenly some 5,000, 10,000 rupees. Okay, money is okay, but our data also, our photos, everything will go. So all these things are there. I'm just giving one example. Then if you see the games like PUBG, previously we had a game called Blue Whale game actually. So these type of things actually, they are very dangerous to students, especially school going children, etc. So one has to create caution. So one has to create, so we have some student bodies. So they will educate their family members, their colleagues, students, etc. about all these things. And there is something called black sheep. So somebody will be near to us. They will be following our social media. They will be following us. They will be knowing us, and they will ask a friend request for a male. He may give a female. Like, so they'll try to trap us actually, and so it will create a psychological imbalance in us that may lead to even suicides, etc. So, and also this addiction. So if you play PUBG game, last week you might have seen in newspaper, one Chinese guy, he was playing for 1 week online games and he died. So this type of, you see, these PUBG games and PUBG like games. So a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists hired to design these games. So there is lot of violence, lot of active involvement of the candidate actually. Because of that, they're even ignoring whether he is thirsty or he is to attend a nature call. So he's addicted in such a large extent that he's ignoring his nature or bodily requirements also. So this is very catastrophic actually. So there are about 40 to 50 items. So it is all defined in a one NGO kind of foundation end now. It is they don't charge any money, etc. So it is available. So there are 50 type of posters are created. So my advice is we have to have this type of digital well-being communities in student, and we need to create the awareness among our colleagues and students.
Nice. I think a lot of counseling is required, and we need to explain the do's and don'ts before the students come into that.
True, Andy. And basically what happens is that there should be a lot of awareness programs to be conducted in the institutions. And basically it is not only through faculty members, we need to invite the industry expertise people to come to institutions and speak about the ethics and values. Because the reason is that when you ask your child not to do this, he will definitely do that. Okay. And if you tell the student to don't do this, he will definitely do that. Okay. So just leave it to them because they're all matured students. Let them know whatever they have learned in the lessons in the life, they have to know about it. So what we sincerely request to the institutions and the faculty members that every weekend, okay, Saturday, we usually have some programs. Okay. Most of the classworks will not happen on Saturdays. We just keep it for CRT programs and soft skills programs and some clubs and some activities. So let's take it and pledge that every Saturday there will be some program on ethics and ethical considerations and for the educational technology, something like that. People should come forward and for example, when we talk about the institutions, okay, for freshers are always freshers. And the second year, third year, fourth year students should take the responsibility and they should be the mentors for the juniors. And they should see that the juniors follow the ethics and everything because they already have learned in the first year. They should be the mentors for them. So such programs has to be mandatory in the institution because we all follow the new national education policy. And there is a lot of changes which are coming up through national education policy. We should respect them. And we have to impart such things in the curriculum also. And those activities, most of these students learn through activities. Okay, when it comes to the extracurricular activities, team building skills, leadership skills, ethics, values, and all those things will be learned in these activities. So with others, right?
That's a good way of helping students through club activities. And most of the institution, we give them holiday, but I think Saturdays we are able to use them. And most of the students, they are advanced. When compared to teachers, I think students are more advanced in using education technology. And unless until they know the consequences in case they don't take care, the results will be very, very bad. Ma'am, your views on this?
Actually, we get most of the students from villages. So once they join the college, particularly for the graduation programs, they are so excited and start using these all advanced technologies. So that's what has happened in some of our colleges, this particularly this Amazon marketing chain. So they get one message, if you sell for 400 rupees, you will get 800 rupees. And if you sell for 1200, you will get 12,000, like that. So with that, some of the students in one of our college lost almost 1 to 2 lakhs. Slowly it came to our notice. So from that time onwards, we started having classes every Saturday evening, awareness on the advanced technologies and how to use it, and how the improper use should be avoided. So we are conducting every Saturday through talk clubs, because we have talk clubs in the colleges. So through talk clubs, every Saturday we are conducting the awareness on these advanced technologies. Other than that, for all the 4 years in the graduation program, every Monday, 1 hour, 10 students are allotted to each teacher. So that is advisory sort of thing. So that particular teacher, he takes care of all those 10 students, academically as well as personally, and all issues related to that student, so that he mentors them in all aspects of academical as well as personal and personality development, all issues. And if anything further happens, then it will come to our notice. So it is working very well in our university. So after that, so many issues have been sorted out.
Very nice. Today morning, I was attending a session in JNTU. It's also an higher education summit. There, the AICT chairman has come. So as he was talking, he was just telling a small incident, He just tried to, ChatGPT 3.5 version, and then he said, can I know something about AICT? AICT chairman has typed that. And he has got 20 pages of matter on that. And most of those things, some of them, even he doesn't know about AICT. That's the power of that. Then he wanted to test ChatGPT, and then I said, can you write a poem on AICT? And it has written in 10 seconds, he got an answer with 4 paragraphs of beautifully, written poem on that. I mean, even that's an art, actually. Writing a poem is an art. It's not a skill much, but now that could do it. He still wanted to test ChatGPT. He said, can you please translate into Telugu? I mean, in Hindi. And he got it in 10 seconds. Now that is the power of ChatGPT. So he immediately asked the audience here, there are around 1,000 students there. And how many of you use ChatGPT? Believe me, almost everybody raised the hand. And that is the power of ChatGPT in the modern period. And now educationists, the universities, the world over, now they're all struggling, finding different methods, doing a lot of research on how to handle, especially in evaluation, how to overcome this ChatGPT in between the teacher and student in that issue. So I would like to request you people to please tell me what precautions can be taken by our, educators in respect to ChatGPT and other such things.
Yeah. So that is again a very interesting question, and how we have to deal with it. So for example, in India, most of the examinations are paper-based examination. For example, so there ChatGPT generally will not play any role actually. In laboratory also, most of the laboratory what we do, so generally we don't give internet to them actually. So coming to written examination, laboratory examination, we don't have any threat with ChatGPT. But yes, in project, for example, when we have project, so that is how we have to define the rubric actually. So if we define a rubric, for example, most of the time what happens, let us say I want to integrate some information with the Bluetooth, for example. So let us say if I am able to interact with Bluetooth, let us say LED glows. So student will show, okay, this LED is now glowing, my project is done. So it is not like that. So if we able to want to sell that project in industry, nobody will take that project. So there are some 4-5 different type of checkings we required actually. For example, if you want to buy a phone, so you see, instead of talking on phone, we have 1,000 other apps running, and phone can be used as multiple things actually. So likewise, we need to define the requirement for a project, so that now recently AICT has come up with a new things called competency based education performance indicators actually for everything. For example, if I am a civil engineer, so do I have skill to have really make a structure? Do like able to I'm able to design the software? What are the things I should ensure when I am writing those codes, etc. Design all those things. So we need to actually create that competency based education and performance indicator. Like what level I can design a project, for example. So if I am writing a code, so what level I can write? So most of the things you see, you can ChatGPT can write, but ChatGPT cannot give a solution. For example, let us say Ola is having some issue. You cannot ask ChatGPT to solve that problem. It cannot give, because it is very complex problem. Only the person who is working on that, for example, a cloud activity is there. So some cloud act services you are not able to link. If you ask ChatGPT, it cannot give a solution. So we require people to really solve the complex problem and see that how we incorporate this plagiarism, and also we have this thing called Bloom's taxonomy, higher level thinking order skills actually. So generally we should avoid rote learning, listening and understanding type of questioning, memory based questioning. We should go to advanced level like apply, analyze, design, evaluate kind of thing. So once you increase the required competencies, naturally let them use ChatGPT, but we should increase the bar. So that is what we do in our institution, and also other institution like IITs and other institutions. If you say MIT, etc. So everything they are actually planning to have hands-on. So they want to reduce memory, and everything is hands-on, and how we have to develop technology using technology. So that is what we have to do. So where ChatGPT or generative this type of algorithms role is very less. And also, if you ask something which we can learn through hands-on, ChatGPT may not give such things actually. So we need to emphasize more on skills and more on higher learning order, teaching and learning skills actually. So that is what we need to follow.
Actually, we are all shifting from writing examinations to through paper to the online. Yesterday, I was speaking to one of the college. They have actually converted into almost into university. They say that we do not have any paper. Neither the question paper nor the answer paper will be on this one. Every student will have a tab where answers will be written there. Straight away, the answers are going to the evaluator in the form of this one. They will evaluate digitally and then send it. Now, the present system is, for example, St. Peter's Engineering College. We have an examination paper, and then the examination department will take a scan of all the copies and then send it to 3 evaluators. And we normally do the process. But now this is changing. Now, in this scenario, ChatGPT and other things, when they are writing on paper, it's okay. But when they are doing digitally, the challenges will be more. Venkatraman, I think you are from industry. I think you should have more ideas about this.
Yeah. See, one thing I would like to tell you about that new course which has come up is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay. To be open with you all, okay, it is not artificial intelligence and machine learning. It is an artificial man learning. Okay. Later on, people will learn why the artificial intelligence has come. Let me be very open with you all. Okay. In Mallaradi University, we have computer circuit courses only. Out of 100, 80% students are into artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay. And there are no students who are taking the core engineering courses. As an HR person with 30 years of experience, I would like to tell you, core engineering is always evergreen. Okay. All these artificial intelligence and other courses are all bubble. We do not know what happens. If anything happens to USA market, we are all gone. Okay. So this is not a threat, but we have to be very cautious. Computer courses are something we can learn afterward, after 6 months or something like that. It is nothing new thing. Because what I would like to tell, artificial intelligence and machine learning is a threat for everyone. And to get a jobs also, it is very competitive because people who have already gone through the artificial intelligence, machine learning, they're unemployed. Okay. Out of 100, there are only 10, maybe 5 or 6% people have got the jobs. Okay. So you have to be very cautious in such things because that is where ethics and values will come. Okay. And people should know. Okay. We are seeing some new things which are coming in the news, and we have been seeing that through artificial intelligence, there are a lot of threats happening, and we have to be very cautious. So here, certainly the ethics plays a very important role because whatever the technology we are learning, we have to be very cautious, and we have to use for the society, for the development of the society, for the state and for the country and for your career. So these things people have to keep in their mind, and they have to take it very seriously. And that is what, as an industry expertise person in HR, when we take a person into the organization, we always see a person should have a positive attitude, mindset with ownership, which fit into our work environment, work culture. We want to see that the person has got an ability, adopt and accountable to take any project because he has to work with the project, he has to work with the client. So as a soft skills and professional skills, okay, and we always speak about the LSWR, okay, listening skills, speaking skills, reading skills, and writing skills, which are mandatory. A part of these also, ethics also is a part of the thing which is required for everyone. So the whole technology, and because now we're not calling as an information technology, now it is called as an innovation technology. We are seeing a lot of innovations which is happening. We are very thankful to Sri Jay Chaudhary Garu, who is the STP director, and he is the man back for the development of high-tech city. Okay. And he was a South Indian director, and he's the man, Vision 2020. Okay. We can see that there is a lot of development, and thanks to our KTR Garu, who actually developed and brought the innovation centers like T-Hub and T-Works. So these all are there where we can learn ourselves and where ethics are required.
Ma'am, can you please help us? What is the role of teachers and parents in inculcating ethics to young students and using education technology?
First of all, the teachers should follow the code of conduct with all the ethics before teaching to the students. They should follow that. Once they follow, generally the students will also, since they teach the teachers take the teachers as a role models, they also follow. For example, when the teacher is teaching the student, he should completely think in terms of the development of the student. He had to put all his efforts without any partiality. He has to give all his subject knowledge, and then he should concentrate to develop the critical thinking of the student so that the overall development of the student will take place. So when the teacher is following the ethics, definitely the student also will follow following the ethics. So as Sir said, when we are seeing the research publications nowadays, so all because of the artificial intelligence and other advanced technologies, so much of plagiarism is coming. And when we see the number of publications, India ranks first. But when it comes to the quality publications, the India citations, India stands nowhere. That is because since the students are not able to develop the competent skills to analyze, to write. So if the teacher, since from the beginning, focuses on how to analyze the problem and how to design the problem and how to develop, like that, if he focuses and then mentor the student, definitely those skills will be improved. And then student will not go into the path of doing the plagiarism. He definitely he definitely does not violate the copyright rule, and whatever material he copies, he will definitely give the citation, and he follows and he respects the intellectual property rights also. So from the beginning, the teacher should be the mentor for the student in terms of honesty, integrity, and then discipline, and definitely the student will follow the path. Even parents also, because normally the ethics starts from home, and then from the school, and then from the college, and then at religious places. So at every step we are seeing the things and learning the things. So only thing is proper framework, if it is there, then definitely the student will follow the path. So institutional culture is also very much important, wherein, like if we see the important reputed institutions like IITs, BITS, there when the calendar is set without even deviation of one day, the entire calendar will be followed. But if we go to some of the institutions, so according to the teachers' needs, students' needs, and administrator needs, the calendar will be changed. So institutional culture is also very much important, wherein definitely the student, along with the course curriculum, he develops the skills and then he follows the ethics.
Sir, Praveen sir, on this.
Actually, sir, like we should also think from a teacher's perspective also. Many times in this type of forums, so many times we talk that the teacher is at fault actually. So what I think, like, first of all, we should also create a good platform for teacher. So for example, if you see, we always we talk about very great institution. So similarly, lot of facilities are also provided for teachers. So likewise, we should provide, first of all, very good facilities for school teachers and the teachers who are actually there in private degree colleges, private colleges, wherever teacher is there. So he should have access to learning platforms, first of all. So many like software companies and other companies, they are actually giving some under CSR, they are giving a lot of knowledge transfer actually. But at institution level, do we have facilities for teachers where they have, let us say, some computers, some time for them to learn these things, and or do we give some recognition to them if they learn something, etc. So that is one of the thing I think, because so many times, because whenever teachers get better opportunities, they try to leave this institution actually. That is happening because now there is a lot of demand to computer related courses, and it is becoming a very challenge task to institution like us to retain faculty members. So we train them 2-3 years, then once we think that that faculty is in a very good position to deliver the technical content to the students, suddenly the neighboring college or institution will give better offer. So immediately we'll try to switch to that thing. So instead of that, if we can create some better opportunity to teachers, so then he will stabilize actually. Then we can talk about ethical things actually. Otherwise, what happens? There are a lot of challenges are there with respect to retaining teachers coming to public sector actually. If you see government sector, it is may not be that problem, because getting government job itself a challenging thing. So there may not be frequent switching in these things. So that is one point what I'm thinking. So then the next point is when teacher is taking the sessions, for example, in education, technology, etc. So he should have similar ethical rules for evaluating. For example, we have girl students, we have boys. So how he should not have any discrimination. Similarly, region-wise also, if somebody is coming from Northeast, somebody is coming from North India, South India, so you should not have any regional these things also. If you see, if somebody like our children, they are going to different countries, so they don't have anything there actually. So there, this type of discrimination are there, not there, because it is a international institution and all this training is already happened there. But this type of training is not given to our teachers. So that is how we get sometimes ethical issues. So when teacher is having assessment, so there should be a clear definition how he has to actually give assessment with respect to students. So that is one thing. The second thing is with respect to parents actually. So like many times we say that children are addicted to phone. So if you see their parent, both mother and father, they are more addicted than children. So children will learn from their parents actually. So we should see that parents, whether are they are spending time. Similarly, software engineers are there. So both are working in industry, both will work late nights and they have international calls. So generally they don't give time to their children actually. So because of that, what happens? So children will download some app, chat, and they're continuously chatting with their students. And psychologically also we need to monitor. So there is a lot of importance of these teachers and parents with respect to ethical values what we built in students actually. So it should start from home. It should start from teachers actually. But whatever issues are there, like parents are not having time, teachers are having their own challenges. So if we can address, we cannot address all the problems, but if we can address some minimum problems, then I think these things will actually create a lot of impact on student ethics actually.
Yeah, I just want to tell that every faculty should be ATM. ATM is not anytime money. It is something like anytime mentor. Okay. So every faculty has to be an ATM in each institute, and we can see a dynamic changes in the institution growth because parents trust us and they see that the child will be learning not only education, he will learn the ethics and he'll come out with as a professional and a good responsible citizen to the society as well as to the country. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think when it comes to teaching ethics, I think there is no better person than the faculty and the parents. And from my point of view, I think if a teacher wanted all their students to read and write on their own, teachers also should do the same thing. Every day, teacher brings through ChatGPT or just a PPT and explains. Students also will do that. So if a teacher is referring a lot of books, and the end of the day, if a teacher is going to tell us, I have referred so many books, please go to the library and go and refer them, the respect of student, on the teacher will almost multiply. So I think we should start our teachers helping the students in that way. And the students always will feel, yes, my teacher is going through a lot of books. They're almost original. And in case whatever they are doing it, if you are citing from which website you got this material, from which book you got this material, I think that's what we should all learn. Citation is the most important, and we should teach our students and also the teachers. And as rightly said, parents should set an example. And especially in the early stages of their childhood itself, parents should tell them what to see, what not to see, how to take care, and for what sites should they respond. All such things, precautions, if they give, set a framework for them. I think that will be the best one. So thank you so much, all the panelists here. I request from the audience any questions or your insights on this particular topic, you can just share with us.
That was very informative and enlightening. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please give a round of applause for all the speakers out there? Thank you very much. So if there's any questions that we need to take up there, please go ahead. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I would request the panel to please stay back for a group picture. Once again, I would like to thank all the speakers of the day. And can we please give a round of applause for all the speakers? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So for the valedictory session, I would like to invite Professor V. Venkataramana, Vice Chairman, Telangana State Council of Higher Education. And along, I would like to invite Mr. Sudhakar Rao, Director, ICFI Group of Educational Institutions. Can we please give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for both of them? Thank you very much.
A very good evening to all of you. It's a matter of grit, determination, patience to stay through the entire conference, entire summit. So all of you who remained sitting in the hall, you deserve a big round of applause. I think we go through several such instances where you have challenge of audience, in the sense lack of audience. That's a big challenge itself. But the discussions were very interesting right from the morning. Even the last discussion on ethics is extremely interesting. We are very happy to associate with this event with the BW Business World. We have been associating and making sure that we associate and bring forth sessions, conferences, and summits which are important for us to open our minds up. And at the end of the conferences, we take back some of the important points that we generated here and implement them. So actionable insights is what we always mine for. And we would like to now and in future also look for such opportunities so that we can take home several insights. And today, the Power Packed inaugural has been extremely interesting, especially for me personally. The insights were very, very good. I think if we focus on those insights and try and create at least 3 bullet points for us to implement in our own departments, in our own schools and universities, I'm sure we would have done a great bit of contribution to the existing process in our educational institutions, which I'm sure all of you will do. Several times in conferences, what happens is there is a competition to speak, but the power and the staying power to listen to those conferences and speeches is much more valuable according to me. I think our ability to sit down and learn has to be given greater priority. We've always been teaching and talking in front of our students back home, right? So here we come and we sit down and listen. I think that format once in a while is important for us. So we sit down, listen, ask questions, gather the takeaways, go back and implement. So therefore, that role we will have to play. Well, our founder once mentioned we were traveling in the US and we were sitting in a major conference. It's called AACSB conference. AACSB conference was being held in Tampa at that time, Florida. So there were a lot of Chinese people who were participating in the conference. They were all moving around. Venue after venue, there are a lot of sub venues, right? There is parallel tracks going on. This room is one venue for one talk, and parallelly there are several rooms in the whole venue. So I was observing a lot of Chinese people sitting in the front row and making notes. And then I moved to another venue. There also I found almost 20% of them sitting in the front row and writing down something. Over the 2 days and 3 days of conference, I noticed several Chinese people writing down, but never a Chinese person stood up and spoke. Then we went back for dinner and I was bringing up this observation. And our founder said, that is a Chinese way of learning. We sometimes don't value that. The Chinese way of learning is very, very different, non-visible kind of learning. They're always there. They don't raise any questions. They jot down and they go back and do whatever they have to do. It's their style. But even if you take 80% of that and imbibe some of those skills of listening peacefully, jotting down, mulling it over, and then going back and implementing, I think that'll be great. Yes, we should also ask questions. We should also be visible. I think in front of our stakeholders like students, we should be much more visible. Among the dimensions that our people have mentioned in the panel discussions today, for example, ethics. Ethics is something less talked about and more demonstrated. I think as institutions, we should be role models. As institutions, our practices will be seen every day. Whatever notice boards, the notices that you pin up are watched by the students and also the colleagues. And if you don't stick to the notice or the promise that you have made, and it is okay informally within your institution to violate those norms, then slowly it will percolate down to the student, and there's a culture, as ma'am was mentioning, the institutional culture will be thus built in a wrong way. The way we treat our colleagues is also a very important measure. Everyone is observing, apart from the colleagues that we are treating. The students are looking at us. So slowly and steadily and dangerously, we are not becoming role models for our students. That's the biggest concern. The moment there is a mic, we are ready to speak for an hour, nothing less than an hour we speak, right? Nobody can stop us. Whether our time has come or not on this earth, nobody can stop us. Because we are teachers, we get used to talking, and 1 hour, 15 minutes is the standard time. If I start, it has to end at 70 minutes or 75 minutes. But more importantly, what we demonstrate in terms of practices, in terms of partiality with the students, evaluation, all those things, we need to very carefully, sensitively look at. Some of the utterances that we make in the class when we crack jokes will have to be very professional. We cannot take it light. We may say anything in a jest and then we go away, but the student is there to look at you and make comments. It's a position of power when we stand at the podium in front of the students. Therefore, it's also a position of responsibility, much beyond that 75 minutes. We get down, we go to our room, but the student stays with us, or our words stay with the student. And therefore, either we are a role model or we are not a role model, depending on what we say, what we do. So our institutional practices and individual practices together build institutional culture, and therefore ethics has to be more demonstrated rather than preached. Now that is very, very important for us. We are all very busy, all faculty members, teachers, professors, we are busy covering syllabus, covering portions. And therefore there is hardly any room for us to actually do something creative, make peer learning work. We take all the responsibility to complete the syllabus. We don't actually do any innovation in terms of bringing the students and making them part of actually conducting the rest of the process. Only good institutions, good business schools or good universities have a practice of making everything run by the students. The campuses should be run by the students. It belongs to them. 80-95% are them. Most of the teachers are 40 plus and the people they report to are 60 plus. But these 40 plus and 60 plus are actually teaching about 18 plus or 20 plus kind of students in terms of age. So there is a generational divide we need to understand, and we need to play catch up. So the more open we are, the more fostering we are in terms of peer learning, the lesser burdensome it is on us. So that's one way of looking at it. And therefore we will have greater time to analyze and be a facilitator and a role model also. Otherwise you are doing your laundry job of finishing the portions and all. If we make it hybrid, if we make sure that we don't have to teach everything in the class, just like the way we have mentioned in our lesson plan, then we have a lot of room to innovate and bring in the students to actually shoulder some responsibilities. So that's very, very important for us. Now, even-mindedness, balance, and jumping to conclusions is another area where we are largely influenced by technology through social media, for example. Influencing technologies are many. One of them is social media, and this social media will also try to mold your perception about things that are happening around us in terms of sports, in terms of cinema, in terms of politics, in terms of what happens in society, relationships, so on and so forth. And they are much more in the mind space than our prompt engineering and how we work with generative AI. How do we have to harness the power of machine learning? And I will wait. Yeah. I'm not Mr. J. Chaudhary. Sir walked out actually when there was a timer. So we need to create more time for us to think and see what kind of value we are adding as heads of institutions and teachers in the classroom. Well, of course, we should stop calling ourselves teachers. Everyone is a learner. We are lifelong learners. And therefore, it is a learner 1 to learner 2. A learner standing here and a learner standing there or sitting there is the kind of construct. So the principles that we believe in and the practices that we demonstrate take us quite a long way in our journey. And of course, our journey is pretty long. So this generational divide which I'm talking about is generally called alpha, Gen Alpha. Am I right? These youngsters are called Gen Alpha. We are what, boomers? Yeah. So boomers versus zoomers, I think. So this generation Alpha is actually an internet generation. It's also called Gen I. Now, in between something has come, it is called Gen AI, which is not generation, but is generative AI. We are all thoroughly confused, but I'm sure if we opt out of social media, all of us, if we opt out of social media, there'll be no role models for the students. The same students will have some of your mobile numbers. And when they go on to the Facebook, there is a prompt saying that you may know these people. Dr. Praveen will be there. I'm just taking your example. But if you don't share your mobile number, you will not be seen on the Facebook prompt. And therefore, there's no way of he following you. And there's no question of any role, being a role model. Collectively, all of us are moving away from the platform of being a role model, which was the primary responsibility for us. And later we come back and blame it on politicians, media, so on and so forth. Whereas we have actually not shouldered that responsibility. We have actually gone away from that primary responsibility. So that's very, very important for us to do that. Going forward, I want to say only one thing, that is the entire conference is based on 3 important parameters. The summit has helped us in taking away that innovation is a very, very powerful thing and a requirement on a daily basis or a monthly basis for us. We need to innovate the programs that we create for them, or the way we deliver those programs to the students, the way we approach in terms of pedagogical interventions. I think everywhere innovation is required. Incremental or big scale, small or big, everywhere, every type of innovation is required for us in order to make sure that our conduct and our journey is very interesting and value adding. Second is technology. There is no sphere where technology has no role. Technology is all pervading, and it is better that we learn technology and embrace technology so that whatever we have decided to deliver is delivered very effectively and at scale. Several models are available. I think technology is going to power us, as mentioned by Professor B.J. Rao. The power of internet is going to be 100 times much more or 1,000 times much more in the days to come through quantum computing. Therefore, the way we can deliver content at speed is going to be an equalizer, is going to be much more democratic in terms of sharing the content. So technology is something we should love to use and harness knowledge, and thereby become very, very transformative. And the last point is, and very, very important point is, entrepreneurial thinking. Whether you work for yourself or work for someone else, having the children bearing entrepreneurial thinking is extremely important. That's the mindset we need to cultivate. And how entrepreneurial thinking will come, and that's very, very important. Couple of years back, we were in the US and we were in Stanford. And therefore, one of the Stanford professors speaks to you, right? So all of us were sitting, and some of the delegates, we were about 15, 16 of us. And one of the members who represented a leading university, which is not very far from this place, has asked a question. What is that you do in Stanford, which we don't do back home in India, that makes Stanford a breeding ground for entrepreneurs? That was a very good question. But the answer lies with us, right? Answer lies with us. Most of our universities, at least some of the universities that I know, they don't pay their teachers very well. Even if they pay, they take half the salary back. There are some practices which are nefarious. We are not thoroughly professional. Our own entrepreneurial conduct is based on cutting corners. Short-term approaches are there. Entrepreneurial approach has to be risk-taking and based on ownership. One needs to move forward no matter what is the result. But if you're always base your actions on ROI, and you're thoroughly worried about what could be the outcome, you will never make any other attempt, and you won't allow any other faculty member to take any risk, and therefore you won't allow any other student to take risk, but you want everyone to become an entrepreneur. And as parents and in the society, our parental faith in children about entrepreneurship is pretty low. It is minus. So that is another issue. So I think the solutions have to be found back home with us, in our institutions and at homes and in society. We need to celebrate failures. We need to actually have a mechanism and platform to have that balance of mind, equanimity, and not jumping to conclusions. All these things will result when you have teaching community or institutions moving forward with greater responsibility in every action that they take. So innovation, technology, and entrepreneurial mindset are the three important takeaways for me. And I'm sure the Business World Higher Education Summit has very nicely brought forth these points through several discussions from distinguished members like all of you. I have really enjoyed, and I want to thank each and every one of you by name for participating and making this a big success. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Preksha, Priya, the anchor, and the members who are sitting in this box. Some of them are sleeping, but it's okay. You will continue to sleep. Thank you so much for providing this support. And thank you, cameraman and your assistant. I wish you all the best and have a nice stay in Hyderabad. There's a lot of traffic jam. Don't be in a rush to go out. Stay here, pack up everything, and live leisurely. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Right, and private university. Thank you. Sorry, that was nice way of winding up the entire summit. I'm extremely sorry that I had to take a call in the mid. There's a cabinet at 4:30, so there's some query which has come. As usual, we have to be ready with data whenever somebody asks. And that's one thing which Sudhakar Rao missed. Somebody said ATM. I think I should add my role as ever ready. That you should be able to, in the middle of the night, tell how many universities, what students, how many PhD scholars, what is the funding, what are the problems. So that becomes when faculty become administrators like us. That's because this cannot be avoided. I mean, you can understand the priority. I have great pleasure to actually say that this summit was extremely well organized, thanks to the support of ICFI, primarily, and MIMS. I see a lot of good names. And I think this kind of a coming together of all the players in the ecosystem shows the commitment towards improving higher education. I have not come here to make a speech on this, but definitely I came here to assure all of you that the system looks forward to a very healthy level playing field, providing a level playing field for all the players, whether it's a small engineering college to a university, both in public and private, as well as research organizations, etc. Having said that, I think the primary reason why at the State Council we want to associate with such events is that to bring in and foster a cooperative and a collaborative kind of a thing. Today, there's no competition. It's all about competition. I can learn better practices, best practices. I can learn and gain and share. Being at in an organization which is like a bridge to the government and the universities per se, or the educational system, I think it becomes our responsibility to feed the government with a proper situational kind of analysis. And it changes every time. 10 years back when Telangana was formed, 2014, I remember, we used to think that what could be the way forward and then and it goes on. See, things sometimes, irrespective of who is there, things will move on. But the players are important, and that is people like us. We should never forget our role, that we should try to learn from each other, rightly said by Dr. Sudhakar Rao. Because unfortunately, what happens when we become islands of excellence, for example, I don't want to say about many institutions which I worked earlier and I also keep in touch now. we become islands of excellence. And when we come down to small institutions, we start pointing out the differences which are not there, things which are not there. Somebody in the morning talked about syllabus. I think nobody should cover the syllabus. They should uncover the syllabus. You should make the student know what he does not know, rather than asking him the same. Today's situation, unfortunately, though I'm in the, I'm also responsible for it, is that predictable teaching. First of all, predictable admission process. You write some examination, and I don't think we need any examinations nowadays. In fact, I am going to move a proposal to scrap some of these examinations, like entrance examinations, because there are no takers. There are few seats, lot of seats and more. So it's a real pressure on the student. In fact, I had also mentioned this to the earlier their education minister. So predictable examination, predictable selection, predictable learning, predictable examination, predictable marks, predictable jobs, and these are not going to be there. So what are we going to do for future? We need to unlock the potential. I think the theme which has been chosen is really good. For example, inspiring and unlocking. And Dr. Sudhakar talked about inspiring. I will talk about unlocking. You find that when we are talking from this point, we find that we are only referring to institutions which have good faculty, good infrastructure, good funding, and good students. Now look at situation where, and good would mean that somebody who can speak good English, communicate effectively, have a balanced mind, have a learning aptitude. All this we want to have. But what about things the other side? I am also the Vice Chancellor of a 9,000 students residential university, which was in the news for bad reasons for a couple of months back. Issue is that somewhere down the line, we forget about our commitment towards these bright minds, either because we are fully focused on these so-called good institutions, or we follow the same models which are being followed. So when I went there 16 months back, I found that the students are extremely bright, come from very impoverished backgrounds, but they need support. And the first thing I took it up with the government, and fortunately the government was very kind enough, is look at things which can improve the student to perform better. Things would mean computing facilities, things would mean better hygiene in the hostels, which would also mean better care to be taken of the faculty. Now, many times we forget, as managements, as governments, we forget that the key players are the faculty, are the deans. Sometimes we assume that the teacher faculty should do their roles, and that's as per the SOP, but they have to do roles which are not as per the SOP also. For example, they have to mentor, they have to look after, they have to keep looking at the trends, learning outcomes, learning abilities, and then, interventions which have to be done. And very few of us give the faculty an opportunity to express and talk something out of the box, because everybody wants to be conformist. But if you want to change organization, in fact, mine is a classic case. Dr. Sudhakar was talking about case studies in ICFI. I would welcome you to write a case study on our own university. 9,000 students, completely residential, and we had to turn it around into a very peaceful, very, happening campus. And to a large extent, we have succeeded. I learned it. In fact, I never worked with an institution like this. I have always worked in institutions where I did not have much contact with the students, but I had to do micromanagement. For example, the sanitation issues, the security issues, the kitchen, the hospital, hostel. So I had a great innings. I still continue to be there. But the point I'm trying to say is that when you apply the same formula, or you wear the same lens to solve every problem, it will not be. You'll have to be highly adaptive, you'll have to be highly flexible, and you'll have to sometimes be unconventional. If I have been taught a certain way of doing things and I want to do it, it won't work. And sometimes we as academicians also expect that somebody else should do. There were instances when I had to take up things which I would never have taken up in my life. For example, there are a lot of things. I don't want to mention them now because it's all history. But had I not done that kind of a micro management or hand holding to the faculty convincing them every 3 days, having a meeting, virtual followed by physical visits, surprise visits, calling on government officials, impressing upon them the need, talking to politicians, sometimes disagreeing with them, getting into a wrong side of their thinking. All that happened. But I think at the end of it, the moral of the story I'm trying to say, it's not about me. It's all about good administrators and academic. Is working with government is very tough. But when you work with them, you find that there's so much the government can do. We all think that sometimes it may be not advisable to work. No, every university, every academic leader should work with the government because there's so much to offer. The government can, if it wants, offer you the entire this thing. For example, the first meeting of the T-Hub was held by me and without any charge. I mean, the T-Hub was the hall was given to me free. Because I told Jayesh Ranjan that, look, I'm getting, because the minister was with me and I said, I'm getting 1,000 students to Hyderabad on the rotation. And he said, for you, it's all free because we believe that you are going to be the change agent and bring in more exposure. So many instances like that come to my mind. I see in the audience a lot of experienced people, Professor Sai Baba, are good friends from academia, my own colleagues, some of you students. So I think the summit has lots to offer. And I particularly like, as Dr. Sudhakar said, all of them committed to come. That's another thing. However busy we are, even these 20, 25 of you take back some of these suggestions, and then it becomes kind of this thing. I think it's very important. Almost I was counting around 15, 20 top academic leaders of the state have come here, apart from other people like Professor Karnakar and other people who are also equally competent, and Lakshman, Professor Lakshman, etc. I can't remember Peter or this thing, Vijay Pal, so Praveen. So that shows that we are all interested, but somebody has to get us together. And that somebody could be Business World, ICFI, Narsimhoji, or any of these institutions which are trying to do this. So from our side, from the council side, in fact, Priya was calling me whether I'm making it with a lot of difficulty because I had to rush through this event and go to the swearing in and then come back to office and then come here, because we certainly wanted to ensure that all of you take back certain good learning these things. I have also had the pleasure to host earlier, I think our last 2-3 events we were associated. And I would ideally request Dr. Sudhakar to do 2 things for us. One, document the entire thing since morning, whatever we have done. And it's possible, if there are no IP issues, we can co-create this knowledge. Some small bullet points of what everybody said. Forget about the people like us, but some of them who really came prepared and who are panelists. So we can have a small this thing. And also, second thing, we can, from the State Council, we can circulate this to all the good universities as a state document. And also, third thing, which I can also proudly say, is in the months to come, in the weeks to come, there will be reviews, there will be discussions, there will be a lot of people coming to Hyderabad. And as per the information available to me, at least in this week, I have hosted 3 delegations, one from Estonia, one from Germany, and one from America. 4 universities, Pace University, US. Yesterday, there was a university, again, one more university, George Mason University. We have signed an MOU. And in the next 10 days, I have 3 more delegations from Thailand, Singapore, and so on and so on. So when such an ecosystem is, they're aware of it. Believe me, whoever is coming to Hyderabad, no more the focus is on student recruitment, but good students who can bring value to those institutions. So similarly, we want to have a research consortium, Telangana research advisory body we have already constituted. And we want to encourage both faculty from colleges to do research, and we'll give a seed funding. We'll have this research awards every year. And we'll also have on January, I think I'll leave it to Sudhakar to announce 1 or 2 more things later on. Let's not do all at a time. But I'm sure half of this audience will be there, at least 3/4 of in January, for another very mega event we are doing in Hyderabad. That's more of a knowledge and networking event from an outstanding international scholar. We did one of them 3-4 years back along with ICFI, but I think this time we'll do it in a large scale. And things like this keep us going. And somebody asked me, in fact, at my office, my colleagues were asking me, there's something very important and you're rushing. I said, things can wait, but certainly we can do multitasking. I think sometimes we should do that. And that's what I've been doing.
Sir,
Thank
I
you
have
so
one
much.
Question.
Yeah.
Sorry for speaking out of turn, but it was being discussed sometime back in one of the panels. I think it was the last panel. And it's an observation that even we all endorse, is that in many engineering colleges, the the core streams are going begging. There are no students willing to join in those streams like civil, mechanical, electrical, and things like that. We also have ICFI Tech, and therefore there's a overwhelming demand for AI, ML, data science kind of courses, computer science kind of courses. Other than that, people are not interested. Sir, is it a good idea? I'm just thinking, having listened to you, I was just thinking, is it a good idea to have a generic BTech? For example, we don't have any branches called at the time of admission, only at the time of admission. For example, when you join MBA, it's a generic MBA. It's a generalist MBA. For our institute, we give generalist MBA. Based on the number of courses or electives that you take, you will sit in the interview and qualify yourself as majored in HR or something like that. But at the time of entry, you're all getting into MBA. Similarly, can we all get into just BTech? And later, based on the electives, because all the labs have to be in place. Your engineering has to be well-rounded. Your mechanical engineering labs will have to be staying put. Your electronics and electrical will have to stay. Civil engineering will have to stay, so that we understand everything. And probably when you are in final year or so, you can choose your specialization and move forward. Even otherwise also, whoever is studying any other stream like mechanical, what I studied, all my classmates are now in computer science. At their MS level or at their work level, they have gone into the world of computing only. So I think at the entry level, if we have to remove this confusion and problem, maybe we should get into generalist BTech program. I wanted to have sir's response.
I think wonderful session. In fact, you will find in the next 1 year or so changes which will be completely unimaginable, because we have to take these steps. Number one, 95% of our students are preferring AI, computer science, so things like that, without really having a core engineering strength in neither core engineering nor any other of this thing. So there is a move to make it a generic MBA, generic engineering program, like you said, but not so much as you said that everybody can go through it. But somewhere down the line, first year would be common. I'm not an engineering student. First year we'll try to be, but we're also looking at the German model. We have had initial discussions, apprentice model. We'll have a gap year model where student can go away from the college, come back again after 2-3 years after doing a stint in in your startup thing. There's so many on the table. What it requires is strong will to do it, and strong commitment to do it, backed by the political support. So I am sure in the coming weeks and months, in fact, today morning, AICT chairman was in Hyderabad. I could not meet him because of this summit, but apparently we are also talking about delinking AICT from many of the good institutions. In fact, this suggestion, which AICT has improved in an annual process book, is we said Telangana would like to be not just conforming to AICT, beyond AICT. For example, if I have a good institution, I don't need an AICT. I should be setting standards. So there are certain very drastic and radical changes we have proposed, because I think the age of the regulation, age of control, age of license Raj has gone. You have seen it in 1982 itself, when liberalization, 1991, right? LPG. In higher education, I think the best and fittest will survive. And student will be, the markets will, it will be the student will choose. So there are a lot of things which we'll do. We are also inviting international players into Hyderabad. I can't reveal the details because they are still on the drawing board. And we will certainly look at empowering institutions and reducing the government intervention so that the institutions can grow further without having to spend much time. We don't have a choice many times, because every day, alternate day, I get a letter from AICT, UGC, asking me to send details, but nowadays we are telling UGC and AICTE, let's do it across the table. Let's have a perspective plan for the state and stick to it. We had prepared a perspective plan, and I must tell you, ours was the best. The Telangana state perspective plan was the best. So when we are the best in some of the things, I think we should also ask for a better treatment. Thank you very much. And thank you, Priya, and your team, and Munaz, right? Munaz, for wonderfully doing this. And thank you all for patiently sitting through. And I'm sure we'll see you shortly. And please have a database of these participants so that you could also invite them for other events. Thank you so much, all of you. If I have missed some of you, please excuse me, because in this bright light, I'm not able to see, but I can definitely find out those whom I know very closely. And I think on behalf of the government, I would like to thank the sponsors, and be assured we would always be proactive and try to work with all of you. Thank you very much.
So one last note from me. Sir, please sit down, with your permission. I hold leadership conversations every week, every Friday. So these are online leadership conversations. Typically, a leader is chosen and we sit in a conversation. So it's 20 minutes of opening talk by the leader on a given topic, whatever topic the leader wishes to speak about, and 40 to 60 minutes of Q&A. So it's largely interactive. And based on that, we have authored a book which was presented to the dignitaries in the morning. That is the lessons from Game Changers. And there are other subsequent books also in the works. In the sense, another 2 books are about to be released. So we have completed so far 130 such leadership conversations. I invite all of you to participate. If you go on LinkedIn, you will see, if you just type Sudhakar Rao, you can see the invite there. And I request you and your students and faculty members, all of us are leaders unto ourselves. In our own respective spheres, we are leaders. Depending on the choice, depending on the topic, you can choose to join. Okay. But at least know that there is something happening. It is welcome all kind of an event. There's no cost involved. We don't pay any leader. We don't ask any money from the attendees. It's a knowledge sharing session. We are going to do tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. 130th leadership conversation. I invite all of you. Watch out for it. It's called Wise Views Leadership Conversations. But if you go on LinkedIn, you will get the invite. And once you join, my backend team will make sure that you don't leave. They will keep on sending invites to you. Okay. So please watch out and join. Thank you.
That was a wonderful speech by both of our speakers. Can we please give a round of applause for both of them? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. With this, we come to an end of BW Higher Education Summit. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all the participants, educators, researchers, students, professionals who have contributed their expertise and experience over here. A special thanks to our speakers, presenters who have generously shared their knowledge, insight, and passion for the education. And I would also like to thank all our partners, especially IC5. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. With this, we disperse for a 15-minute tea break.
Nice meeting you. Yes.
Yeah, sure.